Welcome to the Practical Pet Parenting Podcast, where science and research meets simplicity, practicality, and humor. Because we all know that pet parenting isn't just one thing. It's magical, beautiful, life-changing, frustrating, and overwhelming all at the same time. I'm Dr. Ashita Suresh, a vet, a mom, a dog mom, on the multiple species pet parenting journey just like so many of you. Join me as we cut through the noise, fear, and fluff and take pet parenting from overwhelming to, well, barely manageable. Whether you're a new or a seasoned pet parent, we've all had our struggles with our pets at various points in our lives. But it begs the question, how many of those struggles are just part of the program, and how many of those could have actually been avoided if we were better informed or better prepared about what we were getting into before we decided to make this huge decision? So, today we're going to talk about all the things that you should know and what you should consider before getting your pet. So, let's dive in. The first point in that list is species. So, you know what species you want? Do you want a cat or a dog, or are you still confused? Or is there something that you gravitate towards? Like, have you always had dogs growing up? Or have you always seen pictures of beautiful Persian cats and you always wanted to raise one of those? Are you specifically set on an exotic pet like a turtle or something else like that? And you figure out what kind of pet you want, are you aware of those needs and are you able to provide for those needs? For example, even though your aim in life would be to raise a Great Dane, that might not exactly be possible when you are living a two-bedroom apartment on the 10th floor. They need space, they need all those requirements that a big dog needs, right? The energy and everything. So you need to reconcile your wants with their needs and eventually go down the line as to what will be perfect for you. And this might sound like a lot, but trust me, it is much better to do all these mental gymnastics now than to do it after you get a pet. All right. So now that you've figured out what pet you want, the next question is, where do you get them from? So here we come to the adopt versus shop controversy, right? Now, there are a lot of takes on this issue. Many people will tell you that it's a black and white issue, right? Because, of course, there are so many pets in shelters on the streets looking for homes, and of course, there are not enough homes. But having been in the field, I can tell you for sure that this is not a black and white issue at all. One thing that is often not talked about is that rescue pets, they come with challenges, right? Whether it is medical issues or behavioral issues. And the first time pet parent might not really be equipped to take up these challenges. And especially if you have children in the house or elderly in the house, then there is also a matter of safety concerns. And you should definitely think twice before adopting a pet with possible behavioral issues. But on the other hand, the issue of breeding is also a very testy one. There are so many backyard breeders, unethical breeders, and nowadays people are recognizing that this is easy money and quick money, and that's why it becomes even more important if you are shopping to make sure that you are shopping or getting your pet from a reputable and ethical breeder who is committed to raising good dogs, weeding out genetic issues as much as possible, and most importantly, treating their animals well. So, ultimately, the common theme in both, whether adopt or shop, is having information before you proceed either way, right? It's research, whether you're adopting or shopping, because sometimes we don't choose our pets choose us. And ultimately, having information before we take a step, that is the most important. So now we're done. You know what kind of pet you want and you know where you're getting it from. Next comes the pet's actual life with you. So there are a few things you need to take a good hard look at. The first thing is living space considerations. If you have a huge house with a big outdoor space, then sure, a big active outdoor dog can fit right in. If not, if you live in a tiny apartment, then you may want to look into smaller companion dogs. And next, we've got lifestyle. So, what does your average day look like? Think about that. Are you a very busy person who spends a lot of time away from home? Now, first of all, if the answer was yes, this is a good time to revisit whether you're ready for a pet at all. Because whichever pet you choose, they will definitely need attention. You cannot expect them to be alone for hours and hours on end waiting for you to come home. And when you are at home, how much time can you actually spend on your pet in a day? Can you manage the grooming needs, the daily grooming needs of long haired animals? Or can you manage rotating diets or cooking for pets known to be picky eaters? If not, then two categories of pets are already right out the window. Last but not least, very important factor, finance. It's very important to look at this fact in the face that everything costs money and pets are absolutely no exception. So, very simply put, a larger pet will have a larger cost because, in terms of food and medicine, because they are bigger, they eat more, and medicines cost more because everything is based on body weight, they weigh more. Pets also need vaccines, preventive care, accessories, things like grooming essentials, walking, feeding essentials, and all of these cost money. In today's world, the best way to get an idea of how much this would cost is to just talk to other pet parents, either in person or on social media, maybe a Facebook group, or just, looking around on Instagram posts. There are a lot of people who talk about this very openly these days. And just to get an estimate of how much it would cost in terms of time and money, and what all goes into the upkeep of the pet that you want. So, if you're really confused by all of this, you don't want to do all that calculation, one great tip that I can give you is to set aside some amount in your monthly budget for your pet. Whether you use it or not, set aside that money and think of it as just a savings account or a bill that you put your money towards. That will help you to have funds on hand in case there's an emergency. Now, with everything that we've talked about today, one thing I really need you to remember that not everything is set in stone. Sometimes you can plan and prep and do everything possible, and still you'll end up with something unexpected. That is just what pet parenting is. There is no way we can map or chart every single thing that comes our way when it comes to pets. But even considering half of what's on this list can help you be much better prepared and make you feel more confident, if nothing else, in your ability to take care of this life, which cannot directly tell you what it needs. So, I hope this helped you have a clearer idea on everything that goes into choosing a pet. Thank you so much for listening to the Practical Pet Parenting Podcast. If you found this helpful, don't forget to follow, rate, or review. Whatever your podcasting app allows you to do it. You can also find me on Instagram at Indian Pet Vet and read more at practicalpetparenting.com. Much love to you and your pets, and see you next week.